a lot of times when you hear people on other videos, other platforms, they're saying, yeah, you have to make a choice, use your wisdom and do your research on the person, all of that. If you just listen to them, they're telling you that they are really dependent on their own ability. Ain't got nothing to do with God. Those are the ones that you want to stay away from, because those are the ones that are thinking that they're wise. They think that they know what they're doing, and those be the main ones that will make a mistake and marry the wrong person. Majority of marriages, I can tell you the majority of marriages that took place, majority of these marriages, it was not God, which is why the divorce rate is so high. It wasn't God putting people together, it was people putting themselves together. And I guarantee you that out of those marriages, because it wasn't God, they definitely did not use wisdom by going to God and asking God and allowing God, and probably didn't even have the revelation of them not even just asking God, but allowing God to come and touch them and say, I have the one for you. Versus them going to the person and then bring the person to God and say, hey God, can you go ahead and support the person that I just brought to you? That's just like the girl, she goes out from the house and she gets involved with a boy, and then she brings the boy back home to meet the father. And then the father has to go along with, I'm talking about in the natural, the father goes along with what the daughter has chosen, but the father, he looks and observes and watches the boy. He wants to meet the boy. Well, God is different. God don't have to do that. He can see the person from afar off. You don't have to go and get the person and say, well, God, can you endorse this, because I truly believe that this is you. All right, no, the way I do it, I go choose the person and then I bring them to you. You ain't got to go out there and do that.
She would say we must submit to God's will. Absolutely.
Yeah, if you really want his will to.
Absolutely.
If you want his will to be manifested in your life.
Trust me, you can't miss what God has for you.
What God has for you, you ain't not going to miss it.
It may be delayed because of circumstances. It may be,
Well, those circumstances are still part of his will, too.
So it may be delayed. It may be, something happens, sin, manipulation, whatever the case. You know how our imperfections may come into play. But what's going to happen is going to happen. If it's meant to happen, it will happen. Even it may take longer if we decide to, step in there and do and operate on our own, but it shall happen. Just always go back to the children of Israel. God had a promise for them. They could have got there just like that, but because of their sin, because of what they did, it delayed, but it did not say no. We did a video called Denial versus Delayed. If it's God, it's going to happen. If it's not, it was protection.
Listen, when you get that in your spirit that God chooses you for marriage, and God is the one that selects you to be married, when you get that in your spirit, that's never going to be a thought in your mind anymore. You got to come to that revelation and believe that. You know what I'm saying? A person can't make you believe that. You got to know that you cannot miss what God has for you. And you have to also remember that when you go into Genesis and look at the process of how God created Adam, and then he created the helpmeet for Adam, in the process of what he did and how he did that, then you will understand that that God chooses marriage, and he chooses the woman and the man. He chooses both of them to be with each other for a sole purpose and for his will and for his glory. Okay? If you have not done that yet, or if it had not happened yet, that means that right now it ain't time for that yet. That means that he has plans for you to do other things right now. And if he chooses to let marriage be a part of that plan, then he's going to reveal it. You're not going to miss it.